Hey guys, I made a previous video on level design, but I didn't really create any levels in that YouTube video. So for this video, I wanted to create my first Unreal Engine 5 level. I'm going to be building a beach because I think it's the easiest thing to build as a beginner. Other people also go with deserts, which is pretty similar in terms of props and scope. And I'm going to link all the assets I will be using in this video in the description below. So they're all easy to find and download. Alright, so the beach. I'm going to make a project in the motion matching template. The first thing we can enable, since we are going to add some water to this level, is the Unreal Engine water plugins. And then after that, we're going to have to restart. After it restarts, we can create a new level and then add in the lights using the light mixer. And create a new landscape. The default is fine here. After that, we can look for the water we want to place in the level in the Add an Actor panel. And drop a body of water to surround our landscape. Make sure to change the fall off angle on the body of water to width, so you can avoid weird dips on the landscape. This is going to change the slope on the whole foundation. We can add any material to our landscape. I will add this sand material here under the landscape settings and play with the tiling until I find something I like. Make sure to enable tessellation on it so we can use the height map later. After that, we can build the nanite mesh. This is going to optimize it and then add the depth we want to our material. Then we can play with the numbers to get a height that works for our player model. The first thing I wanted to decorate after setting this up was the shore. I started adding some rocks and rocky meshes that kind of sticked out of the water to make it look better. And if anything didn't line up correctly, I would put some bigger rocks in between meshes to hide the clipping between assets. At this point, I didn't have a general art direction, and I was mostly just testing how all the assets looked in the level. I used the prop suits that came with the projects I imported, or just dragged and dropped meshes into the level to see if they look good. Some tips for the content drawer is enabling filters to look for objects faster. The first thing I put together was this dock. I think it looked pretty nice. I started adding some random posts around the shore. When I was working on this, I kept thinking about the Destiny Islands from Kingdom Hearts, especially the iconic platform with the sideways palm tree. At this point, I decided I wanted to add elements from that into this level. I always thought that the left side of the level looked like a pirate ship, so I added a pirate ship that you walk out of. Then I added these platforms from the Paragon assets that kind of resemble the ones from the game. Then I put some sand in them using flat planes and connected them with platforms. After this, I added some palm trees around the level and painted some grass. I started to add cliffs and mountains to bring the proportions of the level together and not have so much open space. Then I added some giant trees, just like in Destiny Island. Added some bushes to kind of blend in the environment. I think this part of the level ended up looking pretty close to the original game. Then again, I wasn't going for a one-to-one Unreal recreation. I started thinking about how I could make it feel like people were here. I started adding props that you would find in a beach. Swings, umbrellas, beach towels, chairs, filthy trash with flies flying around it, some birds that fly around the map, a little shop with public storage space for umbrellas and chairs, a gazebo that leads to food vendors, a couple of lifeguard chairs, and some starfish on random rocks around the shore. I also thought it would be fun if there was like a sand sculpture competition going on, so I added these to the level. In the end, I liked what I ended up making. It's not the best, but it was good practice just to get started. Other things that I did for the project were adding custom collisions to the pirate ship and the platforms, and also adding planes behind cliffs to prevent them from leaking light on the other side. I'm still learning, and I'm hoping to learn more about how to use splines and PCG tools in the future. I want to start making my own assets in Blender in the near future, but I think I might need to focus more on implementing better logic using blueprints and building player controllers that feel good. I went down a couple rabbit holes these past 2 weeks. Number one, I wanted to make a better platform player controller that feels closer to games like Mario Odyssey or Mario 64. I found a lot of old projects that are close to that look and feel, but they are very outdated. The most recent person that I saw exploring this and making a whole case study series about it was Joseph Bergen. He created this player controller in Unreal Engine that just looks so good. So if you're hoping to make better platformer games, he is a wonderful resource and he is very active on his Discord server. Another thing that I have been obsessed with after watching developers like Solomon Gumbel make their own Unreal Engine game dev journey videos is creating a custom 3D menu. Solomon had this signpost that he made in Blender and then made it a main menu in his game. And I've been trying to do something like this for a while, but I just can't find any good tutorials that are not very basic 2D UMG elements in Unreal. I even asked him about it while he was live streaming on Twitch, but he kind of forgot how it was made. Since it's been quite some time after he made it, did, and he switched over to Godot for his current projects. But yeah, I'm hoping to figure these things out as I keep learning, and when I do, I'll make sure to give you guys the best resources I can so we can all get better at making games in Unreal. Anyways, thank you for watching.